Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you've been paying attention, the Supra is here in the United States, 100% legal. I can drive it, no issues. However, I have been sitting on a upgrade for almost a year, if not a year by now. And the reason I bought this upgrade is because when I installed the turbo kit back in Japan, I noticed that I was getting a lot of oil in the intake system and it didn't make sense. So I changed the PCV, brand new PCV. It did not help. And I know the 2J does have an issue with blow-by, but this is excessive. And then also I noticed I was getting an oil leak on the back of the turbo in the back. I think that's number 2 turbo. But one of the elbows, and I'll show you under the hood here in a second, it was leaking oil out of that, which didn't make sense. Well, it does make sense, but it makes sense that it's leaking oil there because the oil seal is bad. So it's allowing oil to go in the back of the turbo. And another issue I'm having as a result of that, sometimes I get smoke from the exhaust. Not all the time, and I have done all the cold starts and stuff, so it's not valve seals. And if you remember, I did all new 24 brand new valve seals when I put the engine back together as well. So I'm pretty confident it's not valve seals issue. All right, so I'm gonna pop the hood and show you some of the things that I have been dealing with, and then we roll into what's going on. All right, so here under the hood, like this pipe back here, it goes to the back of the turbo, which would be the inlet part of the back turbo, right back here. And there are two 10mm bolts that holds it onto the actual turbo, which is facing this way. Now between this pipe and the turbo where they connect, there's oil dripping straight down, and there's no lines there. It's literally leaking down between those two, and it drips down onto the exhaust. And this right here, I changed the PCV like I said. It's brand new and it didn't help with the issues I was having. And I'm also getting like oil, a lot of oil in here, more than I should. In these little areas also more than I should. Literally every vacuum line over here is saturated with oil. And I know the reason I sat on it for a year is 2 parts to that. Number 1, I had to get back surgery. Don't feel sorry for me, I'm good. However, that is the reason why I didn't go ahead and take the car apart to put that kit on, because I just physically could not do it. And then after I had surgery and was able to do it, I realized that I was gonna have to leave Japan. So it didn't make sense for me to tear the car apart and then just be stuck with unfinished bits and ends, and then I couldn't ship the car driving. So I didn't want to put myself in that predicament. Now, the turbo kit that I bought, it's more of a standard kit, so nothing crazy. But the reason being is the intent was to install it while I was in Japan. And having installed it in Japan, the car still would have to pass inspection. It still would have to go through the normal routine stuff all Japanese cars go through. And this kit had all the provisions where I would have been able to put it on the car and the car would not throw a check engine light. Everything would work just as it is. Now that I'm back home and I can change the manifold, change the whatever parts I have, I'm not going to. I'm gonna install that kit because I already spent the money, I already bought it. So I'm gonna put it on the car, see how it sounds. And for now, I'm just gonna put the turbo kit, stock boost, stock injectors. Essentially, I'm just changing off the hot side. I'm not. Now, the reason I wanted to unbox this before I start the install is because I want to verify that I have all the things I'll need to actually get the job done. So now that I have unboxed it, I'm just going to show you a layout of everything that I have. And that's basically all this video is going to be. Then the next video, I'll start the install. All right, so starting over here, I have the intake cone. I have the oil feed and oil return line, very important, and just a bunch of clamps here and silicone hoses. So I only purchased the hot side piping. So because I only purchased the hot side piping, I opted to have the blow-off valve installed on that piping. Kind of untraditional. My style is I prefer to have it on the intake side, but I guess it'll work just the same. And if I choose to change that over later, I can. All I'd have to do is get somebody to cut the flange off and reinstall it on the cold side. Then I have the downpipe with the V-band, and I only went for one fitting right here. And this is going to essentially be my my aftermarket. Well, for now, this would essentially be the stock O2 sensor. And as time progresses, my pipe that connects here has the provision for another bung. So if I were to run when I get ready to install my wideband, I would go ahead and install it on the pipe down here. The reality though is that later on down the road, I will go ahead and go to a bigger downpipe, and then I would just use this, have it with the provision for the wideband in it. So moving just along, here's the dump tube for the wastegate, and it is the log style manifold, which tells you it's the Street Torque Racing kit that I bought from Powerhouse Racing. As you can see, the stencil right here for Powerhouse Racing, and basically everything else, you can see their little logo right here. Speaking of wastegate, here's the flange that will go to here, attached to the actual manifold, and then the wastegate itself is here with the different color springs and associated clamps needed. And here's that bad boy here. It's a precision turbo wastegate. Yeah, it's not on the box. If I'm not mistaken, it's either a 44 or 50 mil. I don't remember. A few more couplings here, and this is the gasket that will sit on top here between the manifold and the actual turbo. And then this right here is the there is a line, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure, but I think this was supposed to have two little nipples on it, so I can go from, and I'll show you on the car, it would go from this right here straight into that little inlet piece. So I'm not sure, they didn't install that, so I'm gonna have to call them about it, and or find somebody who can just weld me a piece of pipe on there. It's not that big deal. For now, I could probably just vent these to atmosphere until I figure that out. Now, the most important thing I was looking for are these short studs, because based on what I've seen, whenever you install this manifold, it's hard to get to these bottom ones. So when you have the shorter ones, it makes it easier for you to put it on and then be able to put the nuts on. Because if you use the long stock ones, it wouldn't work. So it's a 62 millimeter with a 0.81 ratio in the back. And I went with the unpainted because, again, I was trying to buy a very affordable kit that I was going to just slap on the car while I was in Japan. But time didn't allow me to do it. So here it is. That's the whole kit. I just need to locate like a few nuts and bolts for this bad boy here. And then I'm pretty sure I could just go back to Powerhouse Racing and order another one of these with the provision for that little the line right here. And also they should have provided on here a place for me to put the airflow meter, because for now I'm still running the stock computer, so I need to run this. This has to be on it, otherwise the car won't work. And I'm pretty sure when I ordered it, I ordered it with that option, but I didn't get it with that option. So because I bought the kit so long ago, I'm gonna have to go back through my archive of emails and see. That's what this video is about, is literally just showing you the turbo kit that I'm gonna be installing in the near future. So the next video will be me ripping that turbo kit off, putting this puppy on there. Hopefully I can have it done in a weekend, because that's the time I have off from work, and I'll get the car back up and running. So until next time, you know what it is. I'm out.